I have a 100% container garden, which it can be very convenient if you lack space, have limited amount of space, if you don't even want to bend a lot, or if you move a lot. One thing about a container garden that most people don't realize, if you move, you can take your garden with you. It can be moved in a truck just like all the rest of your possessions, and you don't have to start your garden over. However, it is crucial to avoid common mistakes that can lead to derailing your garden. They just won't grow as planned, especially in the fall. I'm going to go over 8 things that I have found in my own personal container garden to be some of the most crucial mistakes, common mistakes that we can tend to make, especially in the fall. Number 1 is overwatering. Overwatering your garden, especially in containers, can lead to root rot because there's only so much space that the water has to go as opposed to when you're in ground. If you are in ground, it can become kind of hard to really overwater. I mean, you've got to be really watering because that water is going to continue to seep down and out throughout the ground. All right? But in a container, you don't have that. Make sure you always check your plants in containers before you water. Do the little finger test. Put your finger down in there. If it's dry, you probably need to water. However, it's really important that you pay attention to the variety that you have and what you're growing. I have some golden raspberries over here that require little to no watering. Even when the temps in the summer were over 100 degrees, I had to let that plant dry completely out. I mean, the finger test wasn't going to do it because if it was moist below, I was overwatering it. And it caused my leaves to start browning and yellowing because although I thought I was doing an inch a week, I was really overwatering because that particular variety and plant needs to be bone dry throughout before watering. So don't assume all plants need the same amount of water. And just like overwatering, number 2 is underwatering. If you underwater your plants, they can wilt and the growth can be stunted. So make sure to water your plants regularly and according to the variety of the plant and its needs. Number 3, poor soil quality. Now, sometimes we just go ahead and start planting our fall garden right behind our spring and summer garden. We don't necessarily pay attention to the nutrients of the soil or the needs. It's like we have containers, we have soil, we're done with that plant, let's plant something else. But even in the fall, plants need nutrient-rich soil. This is going to help them to grow. You need to maybe amend your soil. You can improve your soil for the fall by amending it, either adding some compost or organic matter to your existing soil. Number 4, incorrect pot size. Now I know you have your pots out here and you're like, okay, I'm going to plant in this, replant in this, but sometimes you need to start small. And then you need to uppot or repot as the plants continue to grow. If your pot is too small, it can restrict the growth. And if it's too large, it can retain moisture, which is really easy to do in the fall because, well, we have cooler temps. And cooler temps, we don't need to water as often. Our soil will stay damp, moist longer. So you have to make sure that you use the right pot size in order to counteract that moisture and or the restriction of your plant growth. Number 5, sunlight. Even though it's fall, and especially because it's fall, we have shorter days. The sun doesn't rise as quick and it sets even quicker. So we have shorter days. But our plants still require the sunlight They need this sunlight to photosynthesize and grow. So make sure, and you may have to move your plants. It may have been real sunny for the 6 to 8 hours in the spring and summer over on this side, but now you've noticed the shift in the sun and it's over on this side. And so you may need to switch your pots so that they can have at least 6 hours of sunlight per day. However, there are some plants that require more shade. So again, check your variety and your plant. But if it needs sunlight, try to make sure it can get at least 6 hours of sunlight per day. Number 6, nutrients. Even in the fall, your plants need a certain amount of nutrients in order to grow. If not, you're going to get those same yellowing leaves, stunted growth, and other things that you get in the spring and the summer. Fall, we tend to think, or at least I have thought in the past, and maybe some of you all have thought that, okay, it's fall, I've done this to my soil, I've been fertilizing, my soil is good and rich, but that plant that just finished growing in there took up all those nutrients. Now you need to replace it. So you want to get a good balanced fertilizer and fertilize according to the recommendations for that plant, and not just that plant, but that variety, because I have found that I could have even tomatoes, something as simple as that. And this variety may require this, and this variety may require that. Okay? So make sure that even within the plant, you're checking the varieties for the things that they need. Okay, number 7, our favorite, pest and disease. Now we know pest and disease can destroy our garden. I mean, it can take it from beautiful to horrible in a day. Okay, if you get the wrong pest or it has the wrong disease. So just because it's fall, a lot of us tend to think that, oh, I'm glad, I love fall gardening, not as many pests, not much disease, but you can still have pest and disease. So you need to check your garden often. Make sure you're checking underneath those leaves and use your black light. If you don't have a black light, you get a black light, okay? I'm going to link a black light that I use down in the product list. Okay, so check the product list if you don't have one. The black light is crucial. And in fall, it's really easy because the sun is not up early. It does not have to be pitch black for you to use that black light, but you can spot everything, and I do mean everything, by just going around with your plants. And you don't have to do it every day, but if you suspect something or if you see something that looks a little off, then you want to check it. Check it for disease and address the disease or the pest promptly. Don't wait. If you can, address it right away with organic matters or methods. And only if you absolutely have to use chemicals, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to save your entire garden. All right. And so if you have to use a little chemicals because it's just an abundance of pest or disease, then do what you have to do. That's my theory. Do what you got to do. Okay. Number 8, overcrowding. Okay. When you overcrowd your plants in your containers, they fight for the resources. Okay. They can't just go this way like they could in the ground or that way or deeper. They're going to fight for the resources, the nutrients and the fertilizer and things like that is being provided for them. If they're overcrowded, it's going to stunt their growth, and your harvest is not going to be what you anticipated it to be because, well, they're fighting for it, so they can't get what they really need. So space your plants out according to the recommendations for that plant, and again, that variety. Okay, if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today here in my garden. I see a nice red tomato behind me that I'm going to grab for a salad today. Oh my goodness, I still have lots of tomatoes growing on all my different plants out here, and it's just amazing. So take a second and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you won't miss anything. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me here in my garden. once again. And my channel members, thank you so much for your loyal, faithful support. And if you're not a channel member, don't forget, check out the Scaredy Cat Crew, okay? I'll leave that link above as well. I'm Pam, and this is Zone 8A. Anywhere you can sit a pot, you can grow a plant.